Tears of the Kingdom has been out for a month and a half, and the thing is, a lot of modern games don't last that long. So how's this game doing? Very, very well. The builds keep on getting crazier and crazier. So we have a new age of efficient and steerable flying machines is upon us. Yeah, look at how little energy is being drained. That is one of the craziest things about this build. And look at how good the flying machine is. You are getting distance, you're getting height, and it's costing nothing for energy. And the mechanic that's driving this is crazy. Also, the irony of low battery on the controller. So, Zonai Wheel, Construct Core, Wagon Wheel, Propeller from Shrine equals this. And also, there's like mechanics about making the glider not expire. And I was onto that from the very beginning. That's in my early videos. So proper testing and like research about that has made it to where you can just go for an outrageously long time on really efficient vehicles now. That's kind of crazy. And here's the mechanic behind it. So Hyrule enters the Jet Age, 8-bladed propeller of death, powered by a single small wheel. Modular, can be used on vehicles, 6 parts, may be able to get it down to 5. So yeah, just kind of like showing how crazy the propeller goes just off of wheel and then the core with the propeller. So this guy like made his own insane propeller, but you can just use one from the shrine to save on components, and it cooks. Also notice how after turning it off, it keeps on generating thrust while you regenerate your battery. Insane. And then what people are doing with vehicles is just getting crazier and crazier. Also, rocket technology has really taken off, but that is a remote-controlled airplane because fuse entanglement is a thing. So you can steer it by steering the propeller with the energy zap. I don't know what people are doing anymore. This is just outrageous. So you can actually do remote-controlled vehicles that self-launch, and you can guide and steer them. Yeah. There's so many little bits and bobs and components, and people keep discovering things to where, sure, you can imagine, like, infinite possibility. But this should not be possible in the infinite world of Tears of the Kingdom. Now, my dream for this game was to make the ultimate mob grinding machine and then get whatever resources I wanted from whatever enemy. I wasn't that successful, and then people just started, like, doing the crazy things that I couldn't. So, this just flies around, automatically homes in on the enemies, and then just destroys them. So it flies around with the lasers, and the way it targets and how it's all configured and stuff just lets it fly, but also lock onto the enemy, zoom around, and then like crash into it for more damage. Now this thing wouldn't survive a Lionel, which is kind of my dream. I just want to like deploy something and beat a Lionel because that sounds hype to me, but it's an automatic mob fighter that it just goes. And it flies, so it's not just like the Roomba that ints itself and then doesn't really do that much. This also reminds me of a previous Tears of the Kingdom highlight video where the tech was you put a rocket on a hoverstone, and the rocket will like launch the hoverstone into position, so you can just kind of put a lot of lasers and cannons on it, and then it's just going to fire down so it automatically deploys. Yeah, I wish I thought of that. Would have been a lot less like demoralizing for me. Also, a big thing we've been keeping track of on the channel since the release of Tears of the Kingdom is electrofishing. Well, now we have a fishing machine with semi-automatic collection. That is hype. So using the logs, getting that extra height, that way you don't electrocute yourself, and then you can just drive it around like a boat. There's even a catching spot. Doesn't work on just fish. You can even scoop up and kill enemies with it, and that's really cool and really awesome. I love the automated gathering Minecraft style that's coming out of freaking Tears of the Kingdom. So people are doing anything, everything of all kinds with all the potential from the building. Also, one thing I thought was impossible that turns out to be very possible. Hyrule Castle minecart can be easily propelled with a cannon, plus where to find it. So yeah, like cannon-powered vehicles. Because the fans aren't really that efficient, the wheels aren't that great, but cannons, they get you around. Even though they consume a lot of energy, you get a lot of distance for that energy, and if you build a cart just right, you can get away with it. So kind of showing where you can find this, how to build it, all that fun stuff. Oh, that one is just right there for the taking, and there's a couple also on Death Mountain. So yeah, it just, like, it eats the explosion, doesn't damage the vehicle, and then still gives thrust out of it, and you just put it onto a cart. Guess you got a fan for, like, a little bit extra. Actually, the fan's taking a little bit of energy off this thing, too. And then you stabilize it, and it works, because that's just Tears of the Kingdom. Really cool design. What? A B-2 bomber, 1600 damage in a single strike. Okay. So yeah, people just making crazy, crazy flying machines, where that's a lot of explosive barrels underneath there, and some kind of spring thing. You get over to the enemy, and then you just launch it, and boom. Bye-bye, Hinox. Get one-shot by the crazy contraption. So yeah, some kind of spring shenanigans to where if you turn off the vehicle, it's going to activate, and then that's going to drop the payload, and it's just a lot of bombs and a lot of damage. I didn't know that you could just use the auto-build bomb barrels to stack and get that much damage like that. But, alright. I thought we would have seen a design like this sooner instead of over a month after the game's release or something. But people are putting it together, and that is a boss bomber for sure. And now there's so many mechanics going on with this thing that I can't even begin to comprehend it. I have not been super crazy into the Hyrule Engineering. I just kind of like show like, hey, this is what they're doing. I can make some sense of it, but all the infinite energy is starting to just get way too out of control. So batteries not included because this build hits the height limit without using any power, items, or infinite electricity tricks. This isn't even doing the infinite electricity shenanigans. Uses a phantom flux drive. No gyroscopic precision after settling in. So there's quantum entanglement builds now, there's phantom flux drives, and somehow construct core wheel drive thing is just happening. I think that's a cooking pot on top because cooking pot meta, sure. And then the video is 8 minutes of wrestling with this thing to hit the height limit without using energy. These people too crazy for me. Also, the community has become like one of the most tight-knit I've ever seen in gaming to just actually work together to make all of these things happen and then share and keep building and keep doing crazy stuff. So now, with the latest discoveries on non-despawning Zonai wings, that's going back to like the first thing we showed, this just crazy flying contraption. And all the advancements on Shrine propeller motors that this dude has invented, it really feels like we're at the cusp of a golden age of efficient flying machines in Hyrule Engineering. So it's all about the names and the users. And then in the comments of this one, we got people just kind of cheering each other on. So hey, Answer Deep, that's the guy that I just talked about from over here. Well, apparently he's a fan of Werecat. Very nice, you did it. I love a build breakdown. So Answer Deep has just been on his own crazy stuff that people are watching, keep an eye on. This guy's a big fan of some other guy, and then Discord of all the builds and everyone just working together to do some of the craziest stuff. I found some more stuff I think the Zelda CPU people will like. What's the Zelda CPU community? It's just getting insane. Oh wait, he just made something an hour ago as I was setting up this video. Flame entanglement. Anything can be an axle. Flux drive demo with a wood board instead of wagon wheel. Nah. Also, we have a quantum aircraft test. I don't have words for that. Alright, let's get back to normal people builds. My most advanced drone yet, highly autonomous, takes out entire groups of enemies at any distance. So once again, rocket meta coming in, auto-deploying some kind of autonomous vehicle, gets it a crazy amount of height, and then just kind of sustains and goes around until it finds an enemy, and then you just got an orbital cannon raining down the hate on the enemies like that. It looks like that one kind of went a little too high, but then eventually just like locks onto them and starts mowing down, and it works. Now it's only a couple of lasers, so it doesn't do like the craziest amount of damage, but it's still like pulling shenanigans, and having any kind of like machine support while fighting groups of enemies or boss monsters, pretty cool. So yeah, just the most advanced autonomous drone. And then going back to infinite energy shenanigans I barely understand, we have the Skybase, an infinite flying platform with wonderful handling, light towing power, and sweet acrobatics. So, why build one? You can let go of the controls and use it for height advantage. This is one of the silliest things I've seen. So, Savage Lionel Bow, bomb, and then you just evaporate everything from the sky, and it's infinitely flying. So it'll just keep on going while you're recharging your energy. That dude just doing the bomb barrels, and you're safe in your platform. You can just spawn as many bombs as you need to on the enemies, whatever base, whatever enemy camp. Even a single battery gives Link enough time for shenanigans. And then there's a detailed build guide on the post. You want the motor to spin, the batteries to charge, and the Goron plate to be electrified, and then it does the thing. And then there's this dude, dropping off the top of the Great Sky Island in my amphibious all-terrain bike to test its durability. So we have the AATB. Alright. Also, that design kind of wild. But we're going to see how this one ends up playing out. Still falling, and he's okay! Alright, I want to see the amphibious capabilities of this thing. So we got a flowing river, and it works. Okay, now I understand why it looks so crazy. So, ooh, that's a really interesting design. So we have the wheel acting as like a gimbal. That way it has the all-terrain capabilities. Somehow with the fans works as to float as well. And then it also just like has shock absorbing powers and can just land from a sky island and then tear over any terrain. And then of course we have to end the video on forklift certification. So this dude just kind of made a cool forklift design that using the spring and a sled and then just kind of making a cool looking vehicle for it. There we go. You can pick up things and transport them in style. And this is one of the more wholesome Korok things I've seen. He's actually carrying him to his friend. Alright, so that is the current state of Tears of the Kingdom builds. We got some cracked people out there that are just doing the most absurd, unbelievable things with the mechanics, and it's kind of opening up the possibility beyond anything that we could ever imagine. And there's still just like a lot of other really cool things going on. So yeah, turns out when you put Minecrafty, sandboxy, build whatever you want things into really any game, regardless if it's Breath of the Wild based or not, you get a lot of people playing for a long time as they keep discovering things. Really cool. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.